What's going on, boxing fans? It's Julian Williams with The Distance. I'm back with another video today. Didn't even expect to make another video, but it's like one video led to another, and another video led to another. So I'm just going to touch on this here. James Toney signs with the UFC, signs with Dana White. Overall, I did have a video back in January about this subject when I talked about James Toney going to the UFC and doing mixed martial arts. And now it's I believe that there's going to be a little bit of conflict between pure overall fans of boxing, pure overall fans of MMA. Of which sport is better. My sport is better than yours. This, that, and the other. And it's crazy. And you guys know me. I'm a boxing fan. 100%. But at the same time, I have nothing against MMA. Though I've already witnessed quite a bit of tension and conflict between boxing and MMA fans. And I'm talking about this coming from my everyday life. I was actually today seeing a couple of my friends. I have a friend who's a boxing fan and a friend that's an MMA fan, and they actually got into it. About James Toney, sign with UFC and stuff. So really, is it a high risk for UFC or James Toney? Not really, not at all. I think that maybe it could be a good business move on Dana White's part. It could be a good business move because maybe it could differentiate the two sports. That MMA is not. It's like this. Like with MMA fights, you can't really expect the MMA fighter to step into a boxing ring and excel. On a very high level. They could, because even though the intensity of their training is different from the intensity of the training of a boxer, it's like this. You can't expect the MMA to come into a boxing ring overnight and become a big star. You can't expect the welterweight champion. I think his name is George St. Pierre, the 170-pound champion in the UFC, to come in and fight Manny Pacquiao in a boxing ring and and dominate or whatever. And you can't expect Manny Pacquiao to come into an MMA ring and dominate George St. Pierre. And on top of that, the weight classes are just different, and stuff like that. So honestly, maybe it could differentiate and show people that, hey, a boxer can't just get into an MMA into an MMA cage and dominate or whatever. But honestly, maybe it was just something that James Toney wanted to try because he wasn't getting any big fights. The Klitschko's weren't giving him a chance, and other than that, none of the top stars or the rising stars of the heavyweight division were even giving James Toney, or kind of overlooking James Toney. So overall, this could be a good move for James Toney, I guess, to make him some money, give him some exposure, get his name out there. So I think at the end of the day, I think it's all money. It's as simple as that. It's all money. Me personally, I have nothing against MMA. Even though I'm a boxing fan, I have nothing against MMA. But at the same time, it's just like it's just one of those moves that's going to cause a lot of conflict between boxing and MMA fans. If say James Toney goes into the ring and he loses his first UFC fight, and because UFC, mixed martial arts is a lot different from boxing. There's a lot more to do in mixed martial arts. There's a lot more to do. You have to, there's just a lot of stuff going on, defending yourself from tackles and from takedowns and holds and stuff. In boxing, you have, it's technique, but you got different styles of boxing. In MMA, you got different styles as well. But me, I don't watch MMA, but I would actually watch James Toney in UFC just to see how he would perform, on that level. So anyway, I'm just kind of giving my thoughts on that. It is a shame that a future Hall of Famer like James Toney, one of my favorite boxers, ever, one of my favorite boxers, it's a shame that he can't get any good fights, and he's going to the UFC. It's a shame that he can't, get the fights that he wants to get, or the money that he wants to get. Is he getting a lot of money, in UFC? No, I doubt it. But at the same time, you know, he could be fighting, you know, 2-3 times a year, compared to boxing, you know, where he's unable to get the fights that he wants. You know, he could probably fight 2-3 times a year, but I think it's a matter of getting the fights that he wants. You know, he wants the Klitschko's, and the Klitschko's aren't giving him the opportunity. You know, and so I think that's, you know, really what's going on, James Toney. And that's probably the reason he wants to go to UFC. You know, but I think that is, you know, Dana White is a good businessman. I think it's a good move for his company or whatever. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. But hopefully, like I said, the whole video comes up. But anyway, that was The Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.